Hello and welcome to Godox Film Lighting 101. Today we'll be using moving lights to create an atmospheric daydream in a tiny space. Let's check it out. Go ahead and jam out even more. Kind of shake your head left to right. Yeah, perfect. That's perfect. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. So like you're naturally drumming, but you're actually playing the organ as intense as possible, like Count Dracula. Can Count Dracula play the organ? Who plays the organ? There you go, you got it. For this setup, we wanted to create a scene that metaphorically transforms the viewer into the mind of a composer as he creates a song. To do this, we are using various Godox lights to move around the space to give the scene a very dreamy and atmospheric feeling. Using lights that move within your scene can help represent a passing of time, a daydream, or maybe even a larger-than-life moment. The way the lights illuminate the environment can help drive the story surrounding the actor, and can help the audience understand what the character is thinking or feeling within their own imaginary world. As for the location, we showed up sight unseen and we didn't realize how small the space actually was. So today's lesson is going to be more about how to make a dynamic shoot with a very small location. So always make sure that your talent is in good shape so he can help you move your furniture to really make the scene come to life. So we have Cody here. He's going to help us move this super heavy piano, and we'll see how it goes. So the reason we're moving this is really to give ourselves a little bit more depth, so that we have more depth of field in our shot, and just to make the overall environment seem a lot bigger. So our set was a little bland when we first got started. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna bring in our own props. I just went to a local department store and bought some little knickknacks that seem to work just fine. We can just stage this however we need to, but I always find that reflective, like chrome, like this mug right here, or even this turquoise bottle, stuff like that will really help with distortion in your lenses and really help add some color to your overall image. I just like how it kind of looks once it's all thrown together. And so we'll set these in the area and we'll play and just see what we get. Okay, so decisions. I guess that could live there. And this clock could live there. I don't know what to do with this, but what's kind of funny is randomly got this and then the couch happened to be turquoise. So it's always nice when things work out. For this scene, we're shooting on a red Komodo with a Vazen 28mm anamorphic lens. The anamorphic lens is brand new and is really cool. This is the first shoot that we've actually got to experiment with it, and I really like it so far. To soften it up a little bit, because it is really sharp, I actually added a black Pro Mist filter, the 1/8 stop version. And what this is gonna do is soften your image just a little bit to help give your image a more dreamy look. So on past episodes, whenever I'm using anamorphic, I'm actually using a magnifying glass to get close-ups because of the close focus distance. But now with this lens, you can use a diopter that can just screw onto the front. This is actually a +2 diopter, and it just allows you to get even more extreme close-ups when using anamorphic. As far as our key light goes, we wanted to add a little bit of extra exposure throughout the overall environment of our scene. So we used a Godox UL150, we raised it way up high on a C-stand and used the QRP120 softbox, and we put the grid and a cloth on there, and that diffuses the light evenly across our subject. And it really helps bring out a skin tone without casting hard light all across our subject and the rest of the environment. One of the challenges whenever we booked the location is we thought we actually had windows in our scene, and turns out there's actually a flat wall and no window for our scene. So what we did is we made an adjustment, and so a lot of times you're gonna have to make adjustments on the fly on set, especially whenever you've never seen the location before. So we needed to create our own fake window, and so what we did was we added a Godox LD150R panel light. And this is full RGB light. It's got millions of color possibilities. I can control it with the Godox Light app, and we wanted to make it look like a window. So we grabbed this room divider and we set it up to make it seem as if it was a source that light would actually shine through. And this actually has a nice little frosted panel that kind of helps just make it look even more believable within our scene. And so we went with that, and there's our fake window. So we've got a Godox LD150R right back there behind that little panel. And that's given us that nice, cool blue light. And I'm easily able to adjust the color temp with the Godox Light app that I'm using here. And I can see it in real time with my camera settings. So that's one really cool thing about being able to use the app as you're looking at your shot in real time. The idea here is to build off these practicals. So these practicals give off this warm yellow tone. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use mirrors to reflect spotlights onto our scene. And what that's gonna do is really just make a more of a daydream type illusion that's going on inside the composer's mind. So whenever you're filming in a tiny space, one trick that you can use is using mirrors as windows. And so we're using this reflective mirror and these Godox S60 spotlights. And what we're doing is we're moving this light in a direction like so, and it is casting these really cool shadows all across our scene. And one other thing is make sure your mirror is nice and dirty with fingerprints all over it. Yeah, that's pretty dirty. Right here we have two Godox S60 spotlights, and what these are doing is they're hitting off this mirror, and that's projecting all those moving images and shadows across the background of our overall scene. And on this specific light right here, it has the 85mm lens projection attachment, and it has a gobo of a window inserted in there and a CTO gel on the front just to warm up the overall image. And this light has the barn doors and more of a wide beam, and that's to help the exposure brighten up just a little bit throughout the overall scene as it hits off the mirror. So it's important to have two different types of projections hitting your mirror, because that way there's a difference between each light, and so you're not casting the same duplicate image across your background. What we have here is the Godox TL60, and this is a tube light. It's RGB, you can control all kinds of colors with it, millions of possibilities. And for this, what we wanted to do was actually match the tone that was coming from the other practicals in the scene. And this light is serving as a nice backlight for our subject. So our camera is right over here. And so this is helping highlight this area around him, and it helps bring him out from the background, and also helps complement the blue tone that we have back here in the background. To go along with the theme of moving lights all throughout the background, we wanted to add another light to the other side across from the mirror. So we have a Godox ML60. This is a battery-powered handheld light if you want to hold it handheld, which is really cool. It's super bright. So what we're going to do with this one is we're able to move it up and down, and what we have here are these trees and these artificial plants placed all on this stand. And this is helping cascade different kinds of shadows all across our environment and our subject, just to kind of complement the other spotlight stuff that's happening with the mirror on the other side. All right, here we go. Everybody positions, and in 3, 2, 1, action. Hopefully this example of using moving lights in a tiny space can help enhance your scenes for any of your future projects. Godox offers a one-stop solution for all your filmmaking needs. From lights, to monitors, to audio, to stands, to grip and staging essentials. They've definitely thought of everything. Thank you so much for hanging out and experimenting with us on this episode of Godox Film Lighting 101. We'll see you next time. Until then, happy filmmaking.